we are going to talk about NotebookLM. And honestly, y'all, I could talk about NotebookLM all day long, every day, for a month and probably not run out of things to say. It is that good. I am not overhyping it. If anything, I am underhyping it. I was recently on Mike Hyatt's podcast AI Explored talking about Notebook LM. And the minute that I got off the call, I was like, ugh, I forgot to talk about this. And I forgot to mention this. And I forgot to mention this. And then since then, I've got like a list a mile long. So I'm just going to show you what we're doing today. That's single spaced. And every line is a use case. Okay, pretty much. So we're going to keep it moving. Um, Feel free to like unmic yourself to ask me a question if I left something out or I said something incorrect or you really need clarification and you think probably everybody else does as well. Otherwise, put your questions in the chat. Nika, over there, well, she's in the top left for me, but yeah, there she is waving. Nika is my partner in crime, and she will answer questions in the chat, and she will interrupt me if she thinks that she needs to. Otherwise, we'll have a Q&A at the end, okay? Because we have a lot to cover. So, oh, and the other thing is, this workshop is I've got a group of US-based amazing virtual assistants who are getting certified in AI through my program, and this is one of the lessons that I have created for them. And then I thought, everybody wants to know about Notebook LM, so I'm just going to invite everybody that's in my community and on my list. So we will talk about some things that are like maybe if you hear me say like for your client or whatever, I'm speaking to my VAs, but it really applies to all of us because we're all running businesses as they are, right? Okay. Here we go. So all right. This is Notebook LM. It is free for everyone. Okay. And unlike many things, the free version is really pretty good. And in every notebook, that allows you to upload 50 resources. Doesn't matter really how big one of the resources is, which is like a far cry from like what we've learned with Claude, right? And all the other LLMs. It's not going to kick it back out and tell you it's too long. Like one of your documents could be 100 pages and you can put it in as one source. So you could put 50 sources in a notebook. The other important thing and the big differentiator about Notebook LM is that you're not going to really have to worry about hallucinations because it is only working with the content that you give it. It is grounded, okay? And that is, as we know, very, very important. There have been a lot of changes in Notebook LM. So even if you've attended one of my trainings or you're already pretty familiar with Notebook LM, it there've been a whole bunch of new things coming and there that have come this last couple of weeks, and there's new things coming still. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So let's just jump right in and take a tour. So as you can see, these are our notebooks. You can also look at them in list form. My number one wish list, and I got to email those folks at Notebook LM and put in my request, but my number one wish list, well, there's two. I wish there was a search button. I can't believe there's not, where you could just search your notebooks because you have to scroll and scroll. If you're like me, you're going to end up with this many notebooks and you have to scroll and that's tedious. And the other thing that I wish that it had was sub notebooks, the way we could do on like Evernote or Google Drive or whatever. So like have a main notebook and then be able to group other notebooks in it. That would be really, really nice. I bet you they'll do that before too long. But as it is, you can look at them like this as a list, or you can look at your notebooks like this. I kind of like this because it's cute. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is let's go into an actual notebook. So what you're looking at here are SOPs for my business. Okay. And we're going to start at the top left-hand corner where we see add sources. Okay. This is where the magic happens. And I'm not using that word magic lightly because this place, this thing, this tool is absolute magic. I mean, all of Notebook LM. this is where we enter our sources. So what you're going to notice, which is so different from all the other AI tools, is that we have a wide variety of types of content we could put in here. We can put in PDFs. We could put in TXTs, markdown files, MP3s, AVIFs, BMPs, GIFs, ICOs, JP2s, PNGs, WebPs, which is like HTML, I think, TIFF, HEICs, those annoying, I don't even understand that format. That's what your phone does to your pictures. And then when you try to download it or upload it, you get the error message and you have to convert it. Well, you could stick it straight into this notebook as it is. JPEGs, I already said all that. Okay, so all the things right here. But then also, you could click on your Google Drive and grab anything from your Google Drive and put it in here. You can put a link to any website and any YouTube video. Doesn't have to be your website, doesn't have to be your YouTube video. And then finally, you can just copy and paste text right here. Okay. And then, as if that wasn't enough, this happened, I think, in about September, where NotebookLM gave us the ability up here in the top right-hand corner to discover resources. Meaning we can go out and let's say our notebook is about hot dogs. We could go and discover sources, all things hot dogs. And it's going to grab it for us, and then we can pull those sources into the notebook, which I'm going to show you that in just a second. It's also here, right? You could search here where it says the web, or your drive. They've got a little easy button here, or this thing called fast research. And I think the results from fast research are, I guess, more in depth from just the general web search here. It's kind of new, so I'm not sure, but you type in your search query right up here. The good news is one of the changes that is coming soon is deep research, and that is really going to blow the whole lid off of this thing. I'm not even going to be able to contain myself once that happens. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's, anyway, okay, let me not get distracted. So you pull in all your resources here, and you'll notice that there's all these check boxes. All the sources are selected, right? I can deselect them all at one time, or I could just select one, or this one and this one. I could choose the ones I want or select them all. But what this means when you select them is that is the content that you're going to be interacting with to create all the wonderful things over here on the right that I'm about to show you, and the discussion that you have in the middle. It's all based on the sources that you check, or over here on the left. Okay. Over here in the middle, what happens is the minute the way that you start your notebook, and we'll go back to that again, you click create notebook. The very first step that it's going to give you is to start with a source. So you don't name it first, you don't do anything. The very first thing is you have to put some sort of content in there. And the minute that you do, it automatically gives you this briefing right here. To me, it's a little bit annoying, this briefing, because it does it on the first piece of content I put in there. I don't think it updated. Oh, it did update. Okay, never mind. All right, so this gives you like this little brief right here. And then down here where it says start typing, this is where we have our conversation with all these sources. So we get to talk to all of these sources essentially, okay? Here is a new update. It's easy to miss, but in the top right-hand corner of this middle section, there are these little, like little levers. You're going to click on that. And this is where it doesn't look like much, but it is everything. You can give it your goal. What is the goal of this chat? Or the style or the role, okay? I like to choose custom and get really explicit and say, like, your role is to create excellent SOPs. You are the world's greatest SOP creator. You know the deal. You're going to give it a role, and you're going to give it a goal. You can have it be. I like to set to default because it generally does well on default, but you could ask for longer answers or shorter answers. And it really is very dialed in to what you tell it to do. And of course, you could change that at any time. So that's a really powerful new update. Okay, now let's look over here on the right. We have audio overview, video overview, mind map, reports, flashcards, and quiz. And I'll tell you what's new, and then I'm going to give you the broad overview as well. So audio overview, if we click on this pencil, it allows us to create a podcast. It's two people having a discussion, depending on the style that you choose, one person or two people having a discussion about whatever you check over here on the left. You could check all of it. You could check one, you could check four, whatever. And then this is all new. It used to be that was really your only choice. And that by itself was pretty bad to the bone. I loved it. But now it's just off the charts because we can ask them to have a deep dive conversation, just to keep it brief, to do a critique, an expert review of your sources, offering constructive feedback to help you improve your material. Or you could ask them to have a debate, right, between two hosts. You could choose the language you want this to come out in. I think there's like 80 different languages you could choose. And again, do you want it to be short? Do you want it to be long? Do you want NotebookLM to choose the default? And then you come over here and you're going to tell them what you want them to focus on specifically in this discussion. Okay. Same thing for the video overview. I'm going to click the pencil. You can create a like animated explainer video on anything. Okay. And I have something really cool to show you right here in this SOP folder that we're in. And again, you can ask for an explainer or you can just ask for bite size and check over here where it says brief. And they have just recently incorporated Nano Banana into the mix. So Nano Banana is the fantastic Gemini image creator. If you've played with it at all, it's just crazy good. And you can choose a whiteboard style, kawaii, anime, watercolor, retro print, heritage, papercraft. And if I forget, because I didn't put it on my 100,000 things on this list, but I want to show you an example of a papercraft video that it created for me yesterday. And if I forget to tell you, remind me, okay? But so you get to choose these styles, or you could just choose let NotebookLM pick. And that's what I've been doing lately. And it has been doing a really good job of picking the style for me. I like the output. So you're going to see an example of this output in a moment. What else can you create? How about a mind map? Okay, let's click on the mind map that I've already created right here. And doesn't look like very much, considering the fact that, oh, I know what this is. I just did this for one SOP. Okay. So when I created this, I just checked one SOP and over on the left, and it was for failed payments for our membership, one of our memberships. Okay. And it was just a checklist. Now, here are the steps. Follow up email using canned response. Okay, click and it breaks it down more. Drafting the email, gathering required information, sending the email. Click in here. Okay, and some people are just, very visual, and this is very helpful. And what's cool is that wherever you click in this mind map, it takes you to that place in the original documentation. All right, so mind map, very cool feature. Reports, I'll show you what's new here. I think before you just had like briefing doc and study guide, I think at the most. Now you could do a blog post, and then they have suggestions, an operations manual, a training guide, a process summary, a step-by-step tutorial. So, all right, let me keep going and then I'll show you some examples here. Then flashcards and quiz. This was just added as well. So with these flashcards, you think, oh, I'm not in school. I don't need a flashcard and a quiz. You do need it because many of you give presentations. You have, client meetings that you need to show up show up for that you needed to study the client's business in advance so you could be successful on that discovery call. There's a million ways that we can use this because we're all still learning. And so it will turn all of that content into flashcards. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to do that. And again, you have the pencil so you could, get as specific as you want them to be and have them come out very custom for your needs. Now, while we're in this SOP folder, I want to show you something that I think is really fantastic. Okay. And you could apply this to all your notebooks. If you look over here on the left where it says Amazon S3 and it's like an audio file, here's what I did. I got my phone, I opened up voice notes, and I just started talking through a process. Okay. And I didn't do it very eloquently. There were a lot of ums and ahs and a lot of pauses and a lot of like, wait a minute, I didn't mean that. I mean this. So I'm thinking out the process, audio. Okay. Then the minute that it's done, I share it over to my computer and I put it into this folder. So I just have this voice dump that I put in here. Okay. Let me deselect all of these. Then I select the audio file right here. And there's a zillion things that I can do with it. So one of the things that I did with it, and before we jumped on this call, is um, I created a video, one of these explainer videos from that trashy voice dump that I gave it. Okay, so watch this. And actually, let me stop the share. I always forget to click that setting that allows for optimal sound. All right. Share sound, optimize for video sharing. All right. Back to where we were. Okay, watch this. Okay.
Have you ever just needed to get a single file online?
Okay, she's going to talk fast because, time is of the essence. I'll make sure it's not too fast though. Let's see. Okay.
Not a whole website, just one PDF, one image, something with a simple link you can text to someone or drop it in an email. It sounds.
Oh, I was trying to make it big. Sorry. I'll just leave it like it is.
Have you ever just needed to get a single file online? Not a whole website, just one PDF, one image, something with a simple link you can text to someone or drop it in an email. It sounds like it should be easy, right? Well, today we're going to cut through all the confusion and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it super fast using Amazon S3. So yeah, this is the exact problem we're solving. You've got a file on your computer and you need it to have a public URL, a link that just works for anybody, anytime. No logins, no fuss. Let's do it. We're going to use one of the most powerful and reliable tools on the internet for this exact thing. Okay, let's dive right in. So you're inside your S3 bucket. The first couple of steps are pretty much what you'd expect. You're going to see that big upload button. Go ahead and click that. Now, you can do this the old-fashioned way and click Add Files to browse your computer. Or, my personal favorite, just drag your file and drop it right in.
Okay, so basically what I've just done, not basically, I just created a training video for any new person that I onboard. And from that voice dump, I can also come over here, click Reports, then click the button down here for the process manual right here, which I've already done down here for a different, this was for handling failed payments. So look over on the right. Okay, just from a voice dump. So honestly, between this and the new feature that Loom Video gives us, where after you do the Loom, there's a little button on the right that allows you to turn that into an SOP, which you can then download and export over here. I mean, between all of those things, there's really no reason that we don't all have our SOP game like set, right? Okay. Let me go back into this notebook and make sure I'm not forgetting to show you anything else. I'll show you the podcast in just a second. Let's go back to our main notebooks. Any questions about that while we're here?
Can you share a mind map? I didn't see a way to export that.
Export what?
A mind map or a video, actually.
Oh, the mind map you have to take a screenshot of, I believe. Oh, there's a download right here. Do you see that? Who was asking that question, Karen?
Yes, Karen.
I can't hear you if you answer. This is it right here, download.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
And
you're
they'll be
welcome.
able, and in that download, they'll be able to like open and close the various pieces. So what kind of file is that even?
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Save. PNG. So probably not interactive.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep. Good question. Learning something new every day. Okay. Now let's talk about now that you can see all these different kinds of all the different kinds of content you can create. Think about this. This takes repurposing to a whole new level, right? So you can I could create a podcast from the audio dump that I created. Once it becomes like a document, and there'd be a pretty dry piece of, that's pretty dry podcast, but I'm just saying in terms of content in general, you could record something that's really rough, put it in here, get it cleaned up, then have the podcast people have a conversation about it, which I'm going to demo for you in just a second. You can turn rambling audio notes into a podcast. Then you could take the written blog post and turn that into a podcast. You could turn the written blog post into videos. You could take any of this content and make them into social media posts. You could screenshot the mind map. That'd be a good piece of social media content. You could have a notebook that just analyzes email marketing funnels from someone who is launching, who you admire, who is successful, you like their style. Then you go into the notebook and you ask the AI to analyze that sequence and look for like the tone, the value proposition, their storytelling session, their storytelling style, their call to action, and then figure out what that framework is, and then repeat those elements in your own emails. And that goes for any kind of analysis. You can have it analyze anything. And because you can bring in all those YouTube videos, website links, sales page links, all of that, and doing that with your own stuff, most importantly, to get feedback. And I'm going to show you a really pro tip on that as well. Okay, let me mark my spot here. All right, so okay, what was I saying? Oh, pro tip. Okay. So one of my favorite things to do is, and this is how you could use NotebookLM to have a $500,000 consultant at your fingertips. And that is not hype. This is actual. And I just can't believe more people are not doing this. Watch this. Okay. So let's say, let me find a good one. All right. Good old Brendan Burchard. Okay. So all of these YouTube videos are completely public. Okay. And I like Brendan Burchard. He gets me, like he's someone I go to when I need a little pick me up, and he's actually a very good marketer. So he has a lot of good marketing content as well. But I can put all of his content in here. Look at all those YouTube videos. Okay. And I can put up to 300 pieces of his content in here. His book, whatever, I can put it all in there. And then I can do a million different things. I can load in a piece of my content. Okay. Let's say I want Brendan's advice on my website. I want Brendan's advice on my funnel. I just put it over here with the other resources, making note of what my content is called, right? Like, and then when I come over here, I would say through the eyes of Brendan, analyze my website. But even better, I'll come over, I'll come over here and ask for a podcast about it. right? I want to hear people discuss it through the eyes of Brendan, based on Brendan's content. So let's see if I have anything good here. This is like from 100 days ago, so I'm wondering if it's any good. Like, I'm afraid, what did I ask it? But let's just see. Okay.
Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to pull out the really impactful bits of knowledge
Can y'all hear that? And you have to unmute because I'm not seeing your faces. Just a yes or a
We
no.
can
from
hear,
all
Jen.
sorts of places just for you. Today we're tackling a big one, something I think resonates with a lot of us. Can you actually get paid for sharing your message, your unique thing, with the world? And, can doing that lead to a life that feels deeply meaningful? Sounds maybe like a dream, right? But our sources suggest it's pretty real.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We're looking at what some people call the expert industry. It's this surprisingly powerful force.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like I asked it to do anything for me specifically. It was just summarizing some of the content that was over here. But I want to show you one other thing you can do with these podcasts that are so cool. So watch what I'm going to do. Let's see.
But it's often been kind of invisible,
Invisible. How so?
Jen, can I ask a question before?
Yeah.
So how do you track all the different conversations you've had with Brendan Bouchard? Like for me, when I'm in the main screen, in the middle folder, it looks like just the whole thing. So is there a way to separate
Yes.
out conversations from October versus November? Like, how do you find those specific chain of conversations?
Okay, so great question. This is a new update where Notebook is going to be saving our conversations. As you can see, I don't have that feature right now. It hasn't saved my, the way that we have those threads in ChatGPT off to the left. It's not doing that yet. That's coming. But so what you can do is, so let's say you have you're having a chat conversation here in the middle, right? And it gives you this great answer. Then what you can do is save it as a note. Where is that? Where's that feature? Hold on a minute. Is that gone?
It's still loading.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. See right there where it says save as a note at the bottom? Oh, it's still right there. Click save as a note, and then it shows up over here on the right. So everything you create does have permanency over here on the right. So any podcast, video, whatever interaction or whatever you ask for is going to stay over here on the right. The conversations, though, you have to convert them to a note. But in about a week, that's probably going to be, although maybe this saves. Let me see, because I haven't. No, I don't want to. All right. So either you have it or you don't. If you don't, it's coming. Okay.
We have a question from Louise, Jen.
Okay.
Regarding this, do you just add the YouTube links or do you add transcripts of the video?
You can actually drag the YouTube links in there, and I'm going to show you something that's going to absolutely blow your mind. Give me 1 second. I just want to show you this one thing on the podcast. Okay. So I'm going to click interactive on this podcast. And I'm going to.
In a world that often feels like just a fire hose. Oh, hey there. What's up?
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but can you just give me the gist of what you're talking about here? It was a long time ago when I created this episode, and I don't even remember what the topic is.
That is absolutely fair.
And we love that you chimed in.
It was a while ago.
We can certainly give you the gist
Our whole focus today is a deep dive.
into the core principles of personal freedom.
High performance and finding.
Okay. How cool is that? Now, so I could call in just like I'm listening to a radio channel and a radio station and interact with the host. The only thing is, though, it doesn't save that anywhere, right? So if I ask them a question and then they answer me, that doesn't add to the recording. It doesn't go anywhere. But very cool feature. All right, let's talk about adding sources in here. So you can just go to YouTube and literally copy and paste, or maybe even physically drag them. But this is what I like to do. So we're going to go to YouTube. And I don't know if I chose my whole desktop or just window only. Are you seeing YouTube? Well, yeah. Are you seeing YouTube now? Somebody?
Yes, we're seeing it.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't have y'all on my screen, so I can't see people nodding. Okay. So let's go to Jordan. He's somebody really good to follow, by the way.
Google's
He publishes
NotebookLM has quietly
every day. I don't know how he does it. He does a great newsletter. I recommend him, Jordan Wilson, Everyday AI. So what I'm going to do is I want to go to all of his videos, not just this one. All right, and I'm going to click videos. And then see this button right here where it says Notebook LM underneath his header? This is a Chrome browser plugin. It's safe because you got to be careful with these plugins. And I'm going to click Notebook LM, and then it's asking me to create a new notebook or choose a notebook. So I'm going to choose, I'll create a notebook just to show you how to do this. Look what just happened on the left. Do you see all those YouTube videos? Now I could filter those and not add however many it just added. Okay, it just put 300 videos in here. So that would be a lot to comb through. So I can filter let's see. I think we filter here first. So popular. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked by that because there is a way to filter the videos that you export over. But that's how you can get like a lot all at one time. Okay. All right. What else? Personal development. So in the same way that in the same way that I did that voice dump, you could a couple of things. I know some people who are big journalers. They write in their journal every day. They take pictures of the pages, however they get their journal entries into Notebook LM, but also with these voice messages that you can just create on the fly, putting those in there, putting your thoughts into a notebook, and then coming over here and creating a mind map to like map out your brain. Wow. Or just to listen to create an audio conversation and ask people to have a debate about whatever conflict you're having and listen to them talk through it. And here's another thing that I want to say about this podcast feature. And you're going to see this in a moment. I'm going to show this to you. Okay, this is my VA saw this demonstration yesterday, but I was specifically looking for a bookkeeper for this demo. And so I went and searched and found this gentleman, Tevin, who is in Cleveland. I'm in Cleveland. I didn't want like a corporate bookkeeping firm. I wanted just like a guy or a gal. So I found this guy, Tevin, and he had a website. And I put his website over here into the sources. And just from his website, I had a podcast created. Okay. So let's listen to just a little bit of this podcast.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've got a fantastic stack of sources that really unpack the business model of TJP Accounting. It's a financial service focused squarely on individuals and small businesses, specifically across Northeast Ohio.
Right.
Our mission is to understand how Tevin Pruitt, the founder, actually delivers on that deceptively simple promise. Save time, save money, and gain peace of mind.
And that phrase is really the core of it, but what's so fascinating is how TJP actually built its structure to support that promise.
Okay.
We're looking at a deeply personalized service model. It's, it's trying to disrupt the standard high volume, maybe impersonal accounting experience.
Yeah, the big chains.
Exactly. It does that by blending advanced financial education with what they call ultimate client flexibility. So we'll really focus on the advantages this hyper-local approach provides.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Before we even get to the services, we need to know who's driving this.
Just right there, she said hyper-local. He doesn't say hyper-local anywhere. And so what is amazing to me is that when you create these conversations, even if it's just for you. And a big part of these podcasts that I do is just for me to process information when I need to understand big concepts, or a complicated white paper, and I need it explained to me and condensed for me. What happens is they're not just summarizing. They're not just finding bullet points. They're actually creating like a story arc, a narrative that is interesting, and they will bring in insights, and they will bring in analogies and metaphors and phrasing that you never would have thought about as it relates to describing your business or services that you offer or whatever. It will blow your mind. I know I've already said blow your mind 25 times. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know what else to say. All right. Now, this one
Yeah.
though,
One more question.
what? Yep.
I actually put the mind blown emojis somewhere in the chat because yes, my mind is blowing just as much as yours.
Good.
Can you export the transcript of that podcast and then run it as your podcast?
Oh, 1,000%. And you don't need to do the transcript. You could download the audio and put it into there are people that are generating podcasts based on topics, right? And they're good. Like, we all have gotten used to hearing these voices. No one's trying to pretend that these are real people. That's the key. Like, you never want to try to pass this off as like real people, but people who have had creative ideas on how to present information, or the kind of siloed information or specific niche information that they gather, like Star Trek fans, who love season 19. Okay. And you could create a podcast that just discusses every episode of season 19 in Star Wars and publish it like a regular podcast. You download it, it's an MP3, and you put it over on your platform wherever you host your podcasts. And so back to this accountant or this bookkeeper, why couldn't he could create, well, first of all, blog posts, podcasts, all the things. And it doesn't have to be about him and his service. It would be just about, preparing, smart things to keep in mind when you're getting ready for preparing your taxes in April. The top 10 things to keep in mind when or the top 10 things to do to get the best out of your relationship with your bookkeeper. And those can be podcast episodes that can live on his website that are definitely going to help him with SEO and ask engine optimization and all of that. But watch this. So I'm going to play more of this than I normally would. It's too long for an explainer video. I would have, if I was doing it again, I would have directed it to keep it like super brief, like under like 90 seconds probably. But I'm going to go about halfway through this and I'll speed it up because I just want you to hear how good it is. Okay.
Jen, we have a question from Becky.
Okay.
Can Jen, can you show where is that levers at the top right again? She wasn't able to see it. So if you could.
All right. The little
there.
levers to set the tone of your chat are in the middle section of the board right here. They're very tiny. They're like 3 little lines. Is that what you're talking about? All right, I'll come back to that. All right, here we go.
Yes.
Okay, good. Also, you guys, we have a guide, a full PDF that I've updated with all the new features and everything. And Nika, did you make that into an Amazon S3 link?
Yes, I will
Yeah.
share in the chat.
Yeah, thanks. We'll put that in the chat, and we'll also send it out with the replay. So it's a very, we've got all the graphics that say click here, click there, all that stuff in case I'm going too fast or I forget to tell you something. All right. So watch this. And the use case I see for this would be as an explainer video to sit on the top of his website.
Let's be real. For most of us, hearing words like taxes or bookkeeping just brings on this special kind of stress. It's like this weight on your shoulders. So in this explainer, we're going to look at one local firm's approach to lifting that weight, built from the ground up for people and small businesses. Okay, so this slide gets right to the point, doesn't it? Because good financial help isn't really just about filling out forms. It's about these 3 things: getting your precious time back, making sure you actually keep more of your hard-earned money, and most importantly, just getting rid of that financial anxiety, so you can actually get some peace of mind. We all know that feeling, right? The minute tax season starts, this wave of anxiety just washes over you. Suddenly you're drowning in a sea of receipts, trying to figure out these super complicated forms, and all the while you're just worrying, did I do this right? But what if you had a local partner whose whole job was to make that entire process simple and, well, stress-free? And here it is. This is a huge frustration that just feeds that anxiety. You go to one of those big national firms, you pay these really high fees, and you still walk away feeling like you're just another number in their system. Well, it's exactly that impersonal cookie-cutter approach that a firm like TJP Accounting, right here in Northeast Ohio, was created to challenge. So what really makes a local firm like this different? Well, to get that, you've got to look at the founder's story. And this isn't just some background info, it's basically the DNA of the whole company. See, this company is deeply, deeply rooted in the local community, and that starts right at the top. The founder, Tevin Pruitt, isn't some guy from a faraway corporate headquarters. Nope, he was born and raised right here in Cleveland, and his work is all about serving his hometown. So check out his journey. It tells a really cool story. He gets his accounting degree from Cleveland State, but instead of just jumping into some corporate gig, his first move is to volunteer. He's helping people with their taxes for free and teaching kids about money. You can totally see this isn't just a career for him, it's a personal mission that led him straight to starting his own firm in 2022. And this quote right here, this really nails his motivation. This came from his time teaching young people about finances. He saw that what people really needed wasn't just someone to do their taxes, but someone to empower them with financial knowledge. See, it's about education, not just crunching numbers. Okay, so we've got this mission of empowerment, but how does that actually turn into a better experience for you as a client? Let's break down what the TJP difference really means in practice. This chart is a fantastic summary. Instead of just throwing around buzzwords, it connects a value, like impeccable service, to a real action, unlimited live support, and then to what really matters. You get fast answers from a real human being when you're feeling stressed. Ultimate flexibility? That's not just a promise. It means they'll meet you whenever, however. Seriously, if you're a small business owner who can only meet at 7 p.m. after closing up shop, they'll do it. And budget-friendly means they use a sliding scale, which makes professional help actually accessible, not just for the wealthy. Let's dig a little deeper into what impeccable service actually looks like. It means when you have a question, you get unlimited support from a live person. You're going to get a response within hours, not be left hanging for days. And maybe most sensitive financial data is locked down tight with professional grade security and insurance. All right, with that foundation of service and trust laid out, let's tackle some of the most common and critical questions people have when they're looking for financial help. You know, the details that really, really matter. Okay, this is a huge one.
Sorry, y'all.
In a world of constant data breaches and hacks, you absolutely have to know.
Hold on a minute. Sorry.
And here's the key. They don't just use regular old email for your sensitive.
Okay. Let me come back to you.
We have a question, Jen. Does
Yeah.
he really offer all of these services, or did AI make it up?
No, that he 100% off. It was 100% accurate. But what was so crazy, and what I want you to get is like when it did that table, that was the AI making the connections, okay? And the way that they talk about his service, he does not do it that well on his website. I can give you a link. It's called TJP Accounting. You can Google it and pull it up. And there's a lot, it's like a lot of websites where there's a lot of text and, it's boring and it's, nobody reads it. But and it even gets better, but I don't want to play the whole thing because it's going to take too long. But I mean, it captured language and it figured out like a good marketer, like the pain points. It found the pain points. It twisted the knife. It made you feel good about his story. It's so good. Okay. Okay, moving on. You could use this for case studies. How boring are case studies? They're so dry. Nobody ever reads them, but they're really important to do, especially, people who work like over, our coaches that are in the group and our VAs and all of our service providers. You work with a client and we're not great about like keeping a list of all the wins, right? But you could, just between what you jot down on the back of a napkin and the little love notes that your client sends you from time to time and the actual review you finally got them to leave you on LinkedIn, plus just the actual numbers of like and the facts of what they look like before and what they look like now, all of those little bits and pieces, including the back of the napkin stuff, you can dump it into a notebook and create a video or audio version of that case study, and it comes to life. And that's something people will listen to. And it'll come to life in a way that you wouldn't have thought about. This is not AI slop, is what I'm trying to say.
We have a question from Maria. Can I take a transcript of this podcast to use?
What?
Can I take a transcript of this podcast to use?
Like
So
a podcast in general or the one that I just did? But yeah, I mean, you absolutely, there's a transcript. You can transcript the podcast.
yeah, she said in general.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, I don't know why you want his podcast, but yeah, you absolutely can. This is all, every single piece of content can be another kind of piece of content in this ecosystem. Okay. I want to show you another. Okay. Let's look at this. You could create an advisory board. So if we go to the little lever section, the instructions I gave are, here's a, oh, oops, that was from my prompt. Okay. Use the perspectives of April Dunford, Dan Martell, Brandon Burchard, Annie Duke, Seth Godin, and Shane Parrish. Give each lens briefly, then a board consensus. Base all answers only on uploaded sources. Prioritize clarity, action, and simple reasoning. If info is missing, say so. And over here, I have books by each of these people. Okay. And they are going to act as my advisory board. And that's it. I'm going to come with problems. I'm going to, maybe I need their feedback on something I've written. I'm thinking about making a pivot in my business. It could be about productivity. It could be about management. It could be about content, like whatever. I have an advisory board now, and this is their brain. Okay. You could have one specific notebook. I always give this example, but it's just such a good one. And that is, and you just pick your expert, right? But if I need an audit of my website, I think in terms of messaging, I have always bought the book Story Brand by Donald Miller for all of my clients. If you're one of my clients that's worked with me in my in any of my accelerator programs, you know you've gotten that book from me, and that is because it's excellent, and I believe in it. So he's really the only authority I want to hear about, that I want to get feedback from, but I can't afford to hire Donald Miller to audit my website. So what do? I put his book that has everything A to Z about his thoughts on website messaging. And then I put my website in there. And then I ask the podcasters to have a discussion. And I say, be brutal. Don't hold anything back. I want to know, through the eyes of Donald Miller, what you would say about this. Now, this same concept can apply to anything. Who's your favorite coach? Who's your favorite, specialist? What about Profit First? The first half of that book, I run my business on Mike Michalowicz's Profit First system. The second half of the book kind of threw me. Like, I did the 5 bank accounts, but then when he had it all, like with you pay your bills on the 16th of every month and all that, that was a little much for me. If I had this tool at that time, I would have created a Mike Michalowicz notebook, and then I would have just consulted with Mike through the book, the back and forth through the book. And I know y'all are going to ask me how I got the books. Okay, so let me just tell you. I think there is a way to do it through Kindle. I don't know exactly how to do that, but there's also a website called Ocean of PDF. Both are singular, okay? So it's not oceans of PDFs, it's oceanofpdf.com. Thank me later. Okay. We're almost through all of this. Hold on one second. Okay, I showed you the advisory board. Oh, this one, my gosh. Okay, for client work, let me find, okay. If you work with clients, you absolutely must create a notebook for every client that you have. They have their own notebook. And in it, you put every single call, the transcript of every single Zoom call that you have with them. And you put in your proposal, and you put in the transcript from your discovery call. And every week when you have calls with them, they go in there, and your invoices, like all of it. It all all your contact with them goes in there. And and I also actually do this in Claude projects as well. I have them replicated. But what's so great is that, well, as you can imagine, like your notebook has all of it in there. And so when you need to, when let's say your contract is coming up for renewal, um, and I'm going to be doing this soon, I'm going to go in there and I am going to create a podcast discussion, and I want to hear like where there might be gaps based on what their, what all the deliverables were promised, based on all the feedback and discussions that happen on all of our calls. Like, where are we? And what should I think about making sure to mention on this renewal call? And and anytime I have a question about anything as it relates to this client, I just go into my notebook and I can just say, hey, what was that thing we talked about when we were talking about mouse traps? Like, and who said that? And what was it they said that they really needed about a mouse trap? Okay. Do.
Jen, it's me again.
Hey, Seema.
I missed you. Anyhow,
Likewise.
since you are using Claude and notebooks, maybe you've also seen the projects in ChatGPT.
Yes,
Can
I
you
use,
give, like
yes.
a quick pros and cons, or like what do you like about which one?
Okay, so you
Just
can't
starting to
do,
get
you
into
can't,
ChatGPT projects, and I don't want to waste my time if it's useless.
no, it's funny. It's a really good question. So for those of you who are using Claude projects and using ChatGPT, and you're kind of like all over the place, and let's not forget about Gemini, because Gemini is amazing. I love Gemini. The more that you're using these platforms, you're going to understand sort of intuitively what's right for what project. But when you're not, I'll start it over in both. And which one do I stick with? Which one am I consistent with? It really does change client by client, project by project. But what I would say is that what is wonderful about Notebook is that you can create all those other resources I was just showing you, right? But you're not always going to need that. And the beauty of doing things over in ChatGPT is that ChatGPT really knows us, right? It's got that great memory, but NotebookLM is adding that. So, and they already have. So it's getting to know us well too. So my answer is ChatGPT doesn't have all these features. So if you want, you're just going to have to use both, decide which one you like better and use one. I don't know. Like I have this client right here replicated. Like when I put the transcript in Claude projects for this client, I also put it over here because I love Claude projects so much. But I pay $100 a month for Claude and I still get that error message, that you've run out of time and you have to come back tomorrow or whatever. And it drives me nuts. You will never have this happen over here. You get, with their new update, you get 1,000,000 tokens. I should have mentioned that in the very beginning. 1,000,000 chat tokens. There's not a single other LLM that will give you that. That's with the paid version, 1,000,000 tokens. And even with the free, you're not going to run out. So I know that wasn't a great answer, but that's my answer. Okay. We're almost done here. I showed you the plugin for NotebookLM. Okay. So I want to show you, I remember I wanted to show you that claymation thing or the paper thing.
paper
Food
thing.
truck. Okay, let me tell you the story behind this food truck. This was also for a call that I had, I think it was yesterday. And my VA said, the VA who asked the question, she's like, my client, all they have is a Facebook page. They don't have a web page. Because I was asking for examples of real clients for the presentation so I could like do some stuff. And I was like, ooh, this is a good one. So the first thing that I did was I went over to Claude Projects and just gave it the Facebook page and said, I need a website. And Claude gave us a beautiful website, like beautiful. with the smartest buttons and call to action and everything. And it really had nothing to work with. And then I came over here and there's no website, but I did a web search and found these sources about this food truck. So there's a few reviews out there, and yeah, and so I went over and asked it to create an explainer video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want you to see how cute this is. And let me make sure I'm going to share again because I don't know if I optimized for sound. I did.
Pam
Okay.
asked Jen, did you create the website using Claude Code or just regular Claude?
Claude artifacts. I'll show it to you in the end if you want to see. Okay. Here we go.
All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about one of Richmond, Virginia's absolute favorite food trucks, El Kiosco. If you've been craving some amazing, authentic Puerto Rican street food, then trust me, you are in the right place. Okay, so let me ask you something. When you want to get a real feel for a city's food scene, to find out what it's really all about, what's the best way to do it? Yeah, for a lot of us, the answer is on wheels. Food trucks have totally changed the game, right? They bring these incredible, unique flavors right to us. And in Richmond, there's one truck that is a perfect example of that. So let's get into the story of Richmond's Rolling Kiosco. This is a story about a beloved local spot that decided to take its whole show on the road, and in the process, became a huge part of the city's food truck culture. So you gotta understand, El Kiosco wasn't always a truck. They started as a traditional brick-and-mortar restaurant that people already loved, but they made a super smart move. Instead of being stuck with rent and all that, they went mobile. It gave them the freedom to take that same amazing quality and bring it to people all over Richmond, connecting with brand new fans in every corner of the city. But of course, it's all about the food. This is what it's all about, right? The food. And what El Kiosco is serving up is legit, authentic Puerto Rican and Latin American street food. This is the real deal, with a menu that's just packed with flavor. And what they've done, which is really smart, is they focus their food truck menu on the absolute best of the best. We're talking...
Okay, you get it. But I just thought it was so cute, and I like how he said Puerto Rican. Okay, okay. A couple
Question
other.
from
Yep.
Liz Jen.
Uh-huh.
Is it possible to sync my Google Space chat thread in the notebook? I don't think that would be part of like the sources.
You mean your Gemini chat thread? But no.
No, not the Gemini chat threads. How you have Google Spaces in your Google account when you can invite people to it.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever use that.
Yeah. I use it a lot with my clients, and I was just wondering if that's something I could sync into Notebook.
It's a good question. I don't know if you could sync it, but I feel like, let me look at that because I don't know.
All right.
We have other questions also here. If we wanted to remove the Notebook LM logo, would we be able to? I know there are watermark removers.
Yeah, they don't want you to do that, and that would be against their terms and conditions, but I know people do. They'll just put their logo on top of it and just plop it into whatever editing software. And like I wish I could show you Google Vids right now. Maybe I'll do another class if you guys say if you have interest in that, I'll do a Google Vids class because it's another one of these like too good to be true. You can't believe how good it is.
And have you seen anyone posting overview videos to YouTube for podcast episodes? Like,
have I seen anybody what?
anyone posting this overview videos into YouTube?
Oh, I know they are doing them. Yes, absolutely. They are. And here's the thing, like if it's good information, it's good information. If it's not, it's not. So, I was looking at a girl who's doing like complete avatar videos, like her clone, and the information is so good and she has 100,000 followers, and it's like, you can't call it AI slop if it's good. Like if I'm watching it and I'm learning, then so it's anyone's game right now. So try it. Like who knows? I feel like there's
Another question, Jen.
yep.
If we use a Google document that is in our Google Workspace as a source in a notebook and then update that document, will the document be automatically be updated in the notebook?
That's a good question, and I think I just read that it is like dynamic now. Like I think so, but do not hold me to that. That's a really good question. I want to check on that. One of the platforms has has made that update, and but I don't know if it's NotebookLM. That would be super amazing. Updates that are coming. Let's see here. I wanted to tell you that as well. But let me just tell you some of the things that are new now. So I told you about Nano Banana, enhanced chat. You have 1 million tokens. You can have 6 times longer conversations with a 50% improvement in response quality. You can create custom goals and personas for the chat. I showed you that at the little lever button. In September, they added the flashcards and the quizzes. We went over that. The mobile app has been improved. There's a one-tap content saving via the share button, and you can use the flashcards and the quizzes on the mobile app, which I think is so helpful because, whenever you're waiting in line somewhere, instead of scrolling social media, you can learn something with your flashcards and the quizzes on your phone. There's a new multimodal PDF support, meaning there's an enhanced understanding of text, images, and graphs within PDFs. There's a new report format, so I already showed you that, the blog post. And what they're getting ready to add is deep research, infographics, slide deck capability, like Gamma, and data tables. And you can add spreadsheets now, and I don't think you could not before. There's one last thing I want to show you, and then I'll just open it up to questions. See, this is why I need a search button. But I'm looking for, if you see it, tell me there's a headphone as the emoji, and it says front row entrepreneur podcasts. I can't believe it's this far down because it shows up. They show up in the order in which you opened them. And I opened it right before we went live. Okay, hold on.
You're saying you can't just do a Command F and it won't work?
Oh my God. If that's the answer, I'm going to run out of here with my tail between my legs. Let's see. Oh my God. Control F. Control F. Thank you. But it's not showing me the right one. Oh, there's one more I got to show you, but I have to switch. Watch this. Okay. It didn't bring up my podcast. I have no idea what's going on there. I hope I didn't accidentally delete that notebook. That would be a disaster. But I want to show you this. Hold on. Well, I'll just have to tell you. This is another way I'm really using it and loving it. And that is, I've got a client who, and you could do this with your own brand, but I have a client who, they have very strict brand guidelines. And so everyone in the company, they're all creating decks and things from, in different departments. And so we created a notebook that has all the brand guidelines in the notebook. And then where you give the role, where the little lever button is in the middle, I said, you are a strict, brand, you are a strict brand ambassador for this company. It is your job to make sure that anything a user submits is compliant with the brand. And so basically someone just comes, puts in their deck or whatever they have, and it will look precisely at the font, at the color, at the graphics, at the logo, at the spacing, and point out if it is compliant or not compliant. Hugely helpful. But where is that podcast? Oh, maybe I didn't put podcast in the name.
Search front.
Okay. I have so many things with front, but we'll see. And I think I spelled entrepreneur wrong anyway. Okay. Wow. I'm going to have a heart attack if I deleted that. But basically, I'll just tell you that as well. I think I might have
I saw it
deleted
in the middle.
Front Row AI Club, Front Row VIP, Front Row Marketing, content creation, front row CEO content, AI club, advisory board meetings. Well,
Right there
strategy
to the
call.
right? No?
Gosh, I think I deleted.
Maybe I'll share the link to you, Jen, in the chat.
Oh, do you
With
have
the,
it?
yeah, you shared it to me.
Oh, yeah. All right, put it in the chat. I mean, all this just to show you one little thing, but it's a pretty cool thing. All right, I see it, Nika. That is so weird. All right. Well, here we go. I wonder, like, when I shared it with you. Okay. Anyway, all right. So, got all our podcast episodes here, right? So, if you think about it, if you put these are all the transcripts of our podcast episodes. Although I could have just put the MP3s in there directly, right? So, and again, you could put up to 300 in here. So think of all the things you can do with your podcast. One thing that I did was I came in and I was like, all right, uh, I picked all of like my top episodes with Gary Vaynerchuk and Seth Godin and all the big names that I had. And I thought this would be a great roundup episode to do for like our 100th episode. And so I went in and asked it to pull all the quotes about marketing, all the quotes about productivity, and all of that from specific people. Give me the timestamps, where it should be cut, where we should edit these out, the beginning and the end. Like, it starts at 20 seconds and ends at 29 seconds, and a link to the episode. Then I was able to export it and I sent it over to Manus. And that's a whole other like discussion. But Manus is another LLM that's very agentic, and it cut the episodes for me. It literally edited the episodes for me with the information that I got from here. But there's so many other things that you could do as well. So I don't even remember what the sample was. Let's see. I don't remember what the prompt was for this, but
Let's be real. Being a solopreneur is a wild ride. 1 minute, you're on top of the world with a brilliant idea, and the next, you're second-guessing everything. It can be a tough and, yeah, sometimes a lonely path. But what if you had a toolkit, a specific set of tools to help you navigate all those twists and turns? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. 5 essential tools to help you sharpen your focus, kickstart your growth, and really build the business you've been dreaming of. You know the moment. Every single person trying to build something.
I don't really even remember what what I was doing that one for, so I'm going to leave that alone. But yeah, all right. So we are already over the 1 hour mark, and there's still several of you here. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on whatever I missed in the chat because I was not following it.
Jeannie said here, don't forget Claude artifacts.
Oh, you want me to show you that? I'll show you that. Okay. I don't want to go in the comment browser. What am I looking for? Food truck. Okay. So here's the website over on the right. And honestly, this is the Facebook page. Let me show you the Facebook page. This is it. We got this. There's nothing else. There's nothing. So I gave it that, but then it did its own research as well, and got some more information about them somehow. And like, it looks like there was the same way that they did the podcast. Like there's some reviews and all of that, but you can't see from where you are. But like when I hover over these buttons, they illuminate. It's got all the contact info right there, all the different food recipes, their story, get a catering quote, all the contact information. Up at the top, we've got a link to their Facebook page and their Instagram. So, I mean, I'm talking like I didn't tweak it at all. And this is ready to go. All I have to do is tell Claude Artifacts to connect these with what it needs to be connected with and deploy it. And
Yeah,
and
someone
it's
asked, how do you get it off Claude?
Well, you go like this, and then you click publish. And then you see here it says publish and copy link. So this will make it accessible to anybody. And from what I understand, it really won't time out. Like you could use that kind of forever, but it doesn't, it's not ideal. So I would buy the domain and connect it to a real domain. But let me say this, as far as websites go, this is not what I would actually use. So Google Google AI Studio now has the opportunity to build stuff, but our VA group and we have been working with that, and there's still a lot to be. There's a lot that needs to happen with it to be like where it needs to be, in our opinion. However, Lovable, I know a lot of you probably use Replit, but Lovable is lovable. It is amazing. And that is where I would go to create, a website. I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it on Cloud Artifacts, but whipping out a quick sales page or a thank you page or something, yes. Okay. That was fun for me anyway, because I can't get my husband to listen to me talk about this stuff, and my kids are sick of hearing about it. So it's nice to have people that actually want to hear about it. Any other questions before we part? I'll do a second commercial for the Front Row AI Club. So you can learn more at frontrowaiclub.com. And we do this sort of thing twice a week, good Lord, twice a month. And it's, it's very engaged. We're very hands-on, and you can give it a try if you want to. There's more information at frontrowaiclub.com. Lots of trainings in there, lots of resources. And basically, I think one of the biggest services we offer is that we sort of comb through all the noise, and we pull out the good stuff for you. So, because you're busy doing other things, and this AI stuff is hitting us like a tsunami, right? And I feel it too, actually, even though this is like our sole dedicated thing that we do around here now. It's just a lot. And yeah, I even had a nightmare the other night that Siri or Alexa like took shape, like turned into a form or something, and I was yelling out loud, delete, cancel, delete Siri. Hey Siri, Alexa, whoever you are, delete, cancel, delete. So yeah, it's a lot. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts before we part?
Jen, I have a quick question.
Yeah. Hi, Nicole.
Hi. Are you liking, I'm using the projects feature in ChatGPT right now and using like the board of directors and things like that. Are you liking NotebookLM better than ChatGPT or?
No, I mean, I can't really, for some things I like it better. For your advisory board, I think, and for a board of directors and whatever, I really think it's better in NotebookLM for that purpose because you can bring it to life, right? Like if you think you would use that podcast feature and you would put that on debate, I love to hear them debate about something that I also am uncertain about, right? Like should I do a launch or should I not do a launch or whatever, and then bringing my launch experts into my advisory board and listening to them go back and forth and have a legitimate debate. But some people are strictly, they just want, they don't listen to podcasts, they don't watch things, they just read. They read transcripts, and I've got all my readers in the room, which, then ChatGPT knows you better up to this point than NotebookLM does. So maybe,
No, that's a good point. The podcast piece, and you could speed it up. So that, yeah, I could see how that would edge it a little bit. So yeah.
It's really premium for content creators. Content creators, and then also, gosh, why couldn't I have been in college when this came out? You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh.
I might have gone to get my PhD if this was but seriously, all the people, right, who are working on a master's thesis or a PhD, the level of research and the way that you can just synthesize information and not the cheating part, right? Like, I'm not talking about like people who are using it to cheat.
The
you
critical
just could,
thinking part.
right, you could learn more faster. And so that's why I really am looking at it like having a superpower and really being able to realize my potential more fully, than I would have before. And I think people are making that discovery. So as a learning tool, in any courses that you're taking, it's just fantastic. And look, here's the thing, you don't have to make a choice between ChatGPT and NotebookLM. It's free. You get 50 sources per notebook. You're not gonna, and if you were to bump into a problem, you can consolidate those sources. Because remember, I had mentioned earlier that like one source in NotebookLM, I don't know how many pages, but like more pages than you need, right? You could make one source 100 pages, and consolidate, a bunch of your documents onto one, and you could squeeze some more juice out of the lemon. I will say that when you pay for NotebookLM, I think you get better security. I think that like like by default, you're not training any kind of model. Okay. I'm looking at the chat finally.
And ditto on the husbands not wanting to hear about all this. That is probably the sales pitch for, let me look up Front Row AI right now so I can commiserate with others.
Yes, it's fun to learn together, and we are like it really is. It's fun, and I just love to hear what people are creating. And the other thing that Nika and I really especially love is like, and we get this a lot, which is oh, I want to do this thing. Oh, this is what I want to do, but I don't know how to make it work. And then it's so much fun to solve that puzzle and then try to create an automated workflow or, whatever, and solve that problem. It's so much fun. Thanks, Nika, for putting that in there. I'm finally looking at the chat. It was kind of hidden from me before, by my own fault. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a really good weekend. And for all my VAs, the people in our VA AI Accelerator, I will see you next Thursday. And remember that between now and then, well, the people on our workshop today know this, you don't. Please be thinking about what you want week 4 to look like, what's missing for you, anything you're stuck on, because next Thursday is our last call, and I want to make sure that we leave everything covered. And of course, I'll see you in the group as well, and Nika and I will be around for questions. So, okie dokie. It was really good to see some faces I hadn't seen in a while. Miss you guys. And oh, can I do do y'all want to see a Google Vid? Do you want me to do a workshop like this for Google Vid?
Yep.
Okay. Well, be on the lookout. You're gonna get an email because it's cool beyond cool. Looks like that is the consensus. All right. So
And
we'll
you're
do it real
crushing it on
soon.
Sora too. So like you've got all of them covered.
What's that?
You're crushing it on Sora.
Oh, no, that is a weird child, that Sora.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. There's like a Sora built into Google Vids as well. So it's amazing, and it's free, and it's just so good. All right. So we'll do Google Vids next time. I'll look at my calendar for next week and see what we can do. Okay. See ya. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.